All right, everybody, welcome to yet another edition of What Drives You. I'm one of your co-hosts, Stan Windhorn. With me, as always, is my good buddy and co-host, Carl Bauer. Carl, say hello to everyone.
Hey everybody, we've got a great guest today and actual fellow YouTuber, but we're going to talk about YouTube, his business, his career. Derek, welcome to the channel.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Appreciate you having me. Looking forward to this.
You know what's always a pleasant surprise? We work together. We'll touch on that in a second, but then you find like these like little side hobbies, hustles, interest. Stan's got a few of those. He's a like a amazing craftsman and crafty guy that I never knew until I got to know him well. But your kind of thing is this YouTube thing, which we're all trying to do. And Stan and I have been talking about this a lot lately, which is in YouTube and in content creator world, you know, a rising tide lifts all boats, right? So anytime we can help, you're way ahead of where we are at. We aspire to be where you're at someday, but let's kind of go back to the beginning of how you and I met. How did, because it looks like, according to just doing some quick research, you pretty much had two jobs in your young life. 10, 12 years with Tribune, which is where you and I met, and then this next phase, which we'll talk about probably more extensively. But how'd you end up in the car business at the Tribune?
Yeah, so that was my first job out of college. My buddy Nate, who I don't know if you remember
Yeah,
Nate, Carl,
yeah.
but my buddy Nate worked there. We were friends in college, and he was a year ahead of me. So I remember I was bartending my last year in college. He came down back to visit, run around the town, and I'm bartending, and I'm like, dude, I'm graduating in a few weeks. How's Chicago? And he's like, I'm working at the Chicago Tribune, a newspaper. This is 2004. And he's like, I can get you a job there, man. I'm like, yeah, give me a job there. So that's it. So I went up, interviewed, and I think I graduated on a Saturday, and I started on Monday in Chicago, working with my buddy Nate at the Chicago Tribune selling ads. And the division they just stuck me in was automotive. And I liked it because I actually didn't start out in the newspaper ad. They started me off on this little weird little sort of not necessarily startup. It was established, but this thing called cars.com, right? And so that's it. I was a salesperson for cars.com, traveling around to a bunch of dealerships in the Chicagoland area, selling them into cars.com listings. So that's how it started off, and I was there for 11 years roughly. Um, yeah,
Where'd
that's
you
how
go
it
to
started.
school, Derek? I'm just curious. You said right out of graduation, where'd you go to school?
Illinois State,
Okay. Yeah.
Redbirds.
All right.
Yep, yep.
I'm a Saluki myself. I was
Ah,
down in
okay.
Southern Illinois,
A
but
little
yeah.
further south. Yep, yep,
A little bit further south. Hey
yep.
guys, I gotta ask you. I mean, do they even have a newspaper anymore? I mean, do they still sell ads in newspapers? It just seems like so long ago. And I guess you started almost what, 20 years ago to doing it, but I mean, is that even a viable business anymore in your opinion, guys?
Carl, I'll let you go on
Uh,
this one.
yeah. Well, I feel like, and Stan and I have touched on this a little bit, Derek, in other episodes, which is I feel like I've gone to a lot of these companies after they hit their pinnacle, and I'm on this downhill
Yeah.
slide. Like the stories you guys used to tell me about your expense accounts and trips and prizes and all that stuff, I'm like, where the heck did all those resources go? But to answer your question more directly, Stan, is the public trust is still out there. Tribune is obviously still top three major metro. Is the physical paper actually still viable? Probably not. My mom, I used to stuff the paper when I was in high school, and it was that literally that thick on a
Yeah.
Sunday.
Mhm.
I mean, it's like that thick. They got a good digital presence. They still have some, good writers and investigative journalists, but nowhere near where Derek, certainly when Derek got involved and then where I got involved later.
What
I,
are all the paper boys doing for work now? That's my
yeah,
question.
I don't know. It was good though for the first. So I got there I got started in January of 2005. Roughly 2, 3 years maybe of it just being like, yeah, still the biggest player in town. We used to say that more people saw the Sunday Tribune then in Chicagoland, then watched the Super Bowl. That was always a great line, right?
Wow.
I don't think that is true anymore. Far from it. So yeah, I was there. Talk about like being there on the decline. I was there for the majority of it, which actually is why I wound up going to law school. I just, I knew that newspaper business was changing, right? And didn't exactly know what I do. I liked ad sales, but I was like, I want something else. So I thought about getting an MBA, and I was like, you know what? Law school's always seemed interesting. I didn't have this like burning passion to be a lawyer. I'm like, law school's always seemed interesting. I think I can probably do most of the things I want to do with a law degree, just like like if something requires an MBA, I probably could come in with a law degree, right, and do most of it, unless I want to be like a finance bro, which that really wasn't an interest to me. So I'm like, all right, cool, law school. I can tell chicks at the bar that I'm a lawyer. Like that's how much thinking I put into it.
I'm
Stan,
curious.
that
Do
might
you
be a
do
good
you?
one, Stan.
Hey,
There we go.
listen. But I'm not going to go to. I'll just make up the business cards and
There you go.
just fake
Yeah,
it. I'm just kidding. But I'm curious. Selling things, especially in the car business, which is a challenge because everybody's trying to sell car dealers, everything. Do you find that some of the skills that maybe you acquired, Derek, while you were selling ads at the Tribune have transferred over to being a lawyer?
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, still selling. I mean, we call it intake now because no, we don't want to use the term selling in sort of a professional services environment, but absolutely, right? People are still deciding who they're in a tough spot. They want to decide, they want someone to help them out. The nearest competitor is a click away or a scroll away on their phone. And I find that people typically are calling 4 or 5 law firms before making a decision. And it is the same sales process learned back in the day. Yep.
Yeah, here's my memory, Derek, of, and maybe we could touch on this. I remember meeting you because I was kind of Stan. They hired me as kind of this special agent to sell websites and SEO and SEM alongside all these guys who were doing the Cars.com uh, and digital marketing, but mostly Cars.com.
Yep.
And so I remember meeting Derek, and I was like, "This is a young, snappy dressing, hip guy," and I'm like, one, I think I had mentioned to Kitson at one point. I'm like, this is going to be a hard guy to retain just because he's perfect age, perfect energy, just and got along with everybody. And then I remember vividly we were in a meeting and you were talking about, hey, I got homework or some reference to graduate school or law school.
Yeah.
And I said to you how um, encouraging that was to see someone busting their ass, still having fun in life. I think you were just dating or engaged at that point in time,
Sure.
and then still trying to, achieve with this law school stuff. But in my brain, I was like, this dude's not going to last here very long because the second he gets that bar test, he's out of here,
Right.
obviously.
And
I
He's
think
going
actually,
places.
well, it didn't actually work out like that though here. So I went to law school at night. I was doing part-time, so it was 4 full years. And then by the time I graduated, right now oh boy, let me get the time right here. 30, I don't know. Yeah, 30, something like that. And I had like more of a career role. I didn't have a frontline entry role. I was leading all their local sales across all the, I mean, like 55 employees, and it was like a career role, right?
yeah,
And so they kept me for a few more years. I was a licensed attorney, but just not practicing. But again, that now it's even more on the decline, and I knew I had to make a jump at some point. And you know, still love the newspaper business, and all my connections at the Tribune, but everyone has made a jump now.
yeah.
Everyone has moved on to other things. So,
So, what kind of law do you practice? What do you specialize in?
yeah, so I own a law firm that does a ton of DUIs and traffic tickets. So we criminal defense, generally speaking, but I've like to very purposefully niched down to driving related offenses. We also then expanded about a year ago to handle personal injury accidents. So a lot of car crashes. I'd like to say if you were ticketed, arrested, or injured while driving, we're the law firm for you.
Got it.
Nice.
That was the other thing I was going to touch. That's a nice segue into. Um, So you were making good money. I mean, because it was you and Kitson and Butte were kind of the top folks, and I mean that you guys were making some good dough at that point in time.
Right.
So to make a jump, well, first of all, to law, whatever triggered that for you to say, hey, I'm going to give up this kind of money and benefits to go do my own thing. But then to specialize, how did it come about the driver defense team? I know there's a cool
Yeah.
story kind of in there where you were like, hey, I could just go be a lawyer and do this kind of on my own. Because isn't your wife an attorney too?
Yeah, it is a cool story. So, I'm at the Tribune for maybe 2 more years as a licensed attorney, not practicing. And, I knew I wanted to make the jump. I've got this law degree. Let's figure out a way to go use it. And, I probably being older, I probably could have gone into like big law type stuff, right? But, and that pays good money, but like you're in, now I'm 30 something. It's entering a law firm with the 20 somethings, right? You got to bust your butt for a long time doing that. I was like, the big law stuff just didn't appeal to me. I wanted to own my own business for sure. And I wasn't quite sure what that looked like. But who's now my wife, my girlfriend, fiance at the time, was a solo criminal defense attorney running around town, running around Chicago, defending people on traffic tickets and DUIs, but also your very serious crimes as well. She had a solo practice, and she actually the day after we got married, she got presented with an opportunity to acquire a firm that was going out of business. And I knew those people through her. We'd gone to lunches and dinners and stuff before, but we went on our honeymoon then. She said, no, no, thank you. I'm not interested. She kind of, had the lawyer mentality, not the business mentality, and they don't always go together. She's an amazing lawyer, but didn't want to operate a bigger business. That's exactly what I wanted. So we went on our honeymoon. We were in Greece, we were in Italy, and we were talking about possibly acquiring a business. And I guess I won that battle because that's what happened. We did acquire that business. We operated it together for a year and a half, and then as soon as we started having kids, she backed out and she no longer practices. So that's how that all came about. And I did not have a burning passion for criminal defense. She did, right? That's what she did. So she was absolutely the subject matter expert. I brought in whatever sort of limited business knowledge I had at the time. And we started growing it pretty well. And as I think as she got more exposed to having employees and marketing and actually running a business, she started to like that. And certainly as I got more exposed to being in court, having a trial, learning all those skills, I certainly fell in love with criminal defense. So it worked out well.
So you've got this growing business, this growing family, but you, as Stan pointed out, correctly, all this experience of sales and marketing. At what point, because again, we're kind of our worlds collide, and it was blown away again, just kind of like how I discovered you were going to law school at night to find out you're a successful YouTuber. I was like, holy crap. Because I forget how I knew, because Kitson had mentioned something about you, business is going good, whatever. And then I just Googled you or looked at LinkedIn. And I'm like, holy crap, he's got a YouTube channel with, by the way, Stan, 34,200 subscribers. His videos have reached over 6.7 million views as of today.
That's a few more than us.
Yeah, he's rocking. So obviously there's marketing in a business, right? We all know you got to market your business. Some people are better at social media, some just hire an agency, whatever. When did that happen, and what has that done for your business? So what has it done for your business?
Yep.
And are you monetized? And tell us about your YouTube kind of ecosystem and learning.
Yeah. No, that's a cool story too, because it happened by accident. COVID happened, right? Our business basically shut down for a few months there. And so I just started making YouTube videos. I had little kids, and I told my wife, like, I'm going to get out for a few hours, run to the office and record some videos. We're doing it all by myself, sort of a standalone setup, editing stuff. And I never would have had that opportunity if it wasn't for COVID. I was in court every day, and then courts shut down, right? I was dealing with clients every day, and clients were like, I don't want to talk to you. Court shut down, right? Like, my problems are temporarily solved. I don't need to deal with you, right? I'm not making any payments to you because court's shut down, right? So it was tough to be tough to be in business then, but I started making videos. I would love to tell you that like they shot off like a rocket. They didn't. They were terrible. You know, everyone's sort of embarrassed of their first few videos. They were super niche though, and I will say that I saw the value in that. I was not trying to be a celebrity. I was trying to get clients. And so I joke that I have this video that is like 7 minutes long about what to do if you get a ticket by the Chicago police on Michigan Avenue making an illegal U-turn. Like the stupidest, most boring, driest video imaginable. But it's like, I don't know how many it has now, but I remember at one point it had like 100 and something views. I'm like, who in the world is watching that if they didn't just get that ticket, right? And we've done hundreds of those cases over the years, right? So, and they've all paid us money for that. So that was the purpose in the beginning, is just to do this super niche stuff that hopefully people Google and find it and watch and call us, which that happens and that still happens. That's how it all started, at least.
The
Then,
niche is
yeah,
you're getting video that someone else had shot, like is it a police video or something, or
no, it's talking head. No. So originally that's how it started. It was just talking
okay.
head videos like this. Me looking at the screen saying, well, here's what you got to do, and here's how you handle that ticket. And if you want a lawyer, call us, right?
Oh,
Want a free
got
counseling?
you.
That's how it started. Very limited views. And I did that for a while. And then I hired a video editor. He's still here. He's my marketing guy. Shout out to him. And he was like, I think that you could make these videos more interesting. I'm like, yeah, more interesting than just me looking at camera talking? Wow. And he came up with this idea, this reaction video, which there are others out there.
Sure.
So he started that out. And basically, I don't think there's any law firm in Illinois that does more DUIs than us. We do tons and tons of DUI defense. And so he started finding DUI videos on the internet, not related, and obviously not our clients, just ones on the internet, and showing them to us and
Like
having,
police cam type of stuff,
yes,
or
body worn
I mean,
camera. Yep, exactly.
okay.
And we react to it. And where it's all right, so I'm watching it, and I'll pause the video. I'm like, all right, what the officer's about to do next is this, that, and the other, right? What the driver should do is he should refuse this, he should do that, right? So more like using that random
Yeah.
police video as a platform for education, right?
Yeah.
And because the videos are typically pretty wild, entertainment too, right? So it's a good blend, I thought, of entertainment and education. And here's the crazy part. The very first one we did, very first reaction video we did, we got so lucky, shot off like crazy. Within a couple days, 1 million views.
Wow.
It leveled off, but now that video, I just looked, 2.3 million views that one video has had. And we tried to capitalize on it. We put out another one and another one, another one. Nothing has came close to doing as good as that one. So I don't know what happened, if we just got lucky in the algorithm, the timing is right or whatever, but that video did incredible. Got the majority of our 36, 34, whatever thousand subscribers and got monetized overnight after launching that video.
That's almost like a YouTuber's what's the word I'm looking for? Like kind of hitting the lottery, or like a
Yeah.
dream come true to be able to hit it out of the park with one video like that.
Yes.
So congratulations, man. That is super cool.
Yeah, it was fun. It's cool. And looking back, I'm like, we did. We put out a good video. The timing must have been right. And yeah,
Was
man,
that on a DUI stop?
yeah, it's a
Was
DUI
that
stop where
okay?
it's an egregious DUI stop, right? Where uh, the police were overstepped by quite a bit. And a very sympathetic college student who was actually sober and got arrested for a DUI, like had all the right elements, like super interesting stuff, right?
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, and it did really, really well. And yeah, man, I was like, oh my God, like making $4,000 a month overnight being monetized, right? Like it's amazing. It did not continue. It did
Yeah.
not continue. We were still monetized, we still above it, but boy, we're not getting anywhere near the views. And to the point where we actually, I think that's the lesson is you got to keep it fresh. You got to keep figuring out what works, because After so many DUI reaction videos, I was starting to feel that it got stale. So we're starting to switch stuff up a little bit.
I do though, Derek, like the one. Thank you for sharing that detail because that one is. I mean, the next closest one is 214,000. So
Yeah.
that one 10x'd it.
Yep.
But on average, because as I'm watching these coaching videos outside, first your transparency and your real reaction is really powerful, in my opinion. I just watched the Tiger Woods one the other day, and I was like, "Holy crap!" And I love that you're cheering for them, like, "Don't do it,
Yeah.
Tiger! Don't say it! Stop!" Because it's real, right? It's a real reaction. I love the studio effect, but I mean, helping people. There's a guy. I don't know if you guys. I've sent him to Stan a bunch of times. He's a former cop, former military. His channel is the Donut Operator. Have you seen that
Yeah.
guy? Yeah.
Yes.
So he does a lot of what you're talking about. I mean, his stuff is, you talk about wild, dude. Just
Yeah.
people getting shot. I mean, just
Yes.
stabbed, the whole deal. It's very
Yes.
graphic. So if you go there, don't be shocked when you get the parental warning because it's
Exactly.
for real. But the walkthrough of the coaching and the expertise and experience that you can kind of give to people still is a value to me. I do agree with the keeping it fresh, and that's kind of where Stan and I are headed. Like as we kind of grow this and get consistent and disciplined about putting out content, we want to have an experience in our channel, which is a driving experience, an actual physical driving, because he lives
Yeah.
right down by the Circuit of the Americas. So we're trying to figure out how you put that into your education, entertainment, encouragement, but also give the guests, like if you and I and Stan were right now Circuit of Americas racing some cars around, getting reaction, then talking about all this, that
Yeah.
would be a really fun
That would be awesome.
experiential thing for the guest and for I think the viewers, the
Yeah,
subscribers.
for sure. Reminds me of a lawyer channel. I don't even know if it's still around, but it's like some law firm put out, I couldn't tell you the details, but Lawyers Eating Sandwiches is what it's called. And
Hmm.
it's literally like four old-timey lawyers, like gray hair, guys sitting around a table eating sandwiches and talking about like stuff. I don't know, current events and our case they had and stuff. It's a good blend of education and entertainment, I think, and I think that's the name of the game. Of course, you can be pure education, you can be pure entertainment, but my working theory is subject to change. Is that when you can blend those two together, people like to watch.
Yeah. So what has all this success? Let's call it success because it is on YouTube. You got one viral, monetized you overnight, which is an amazing thing. So for those of you who are thinking about giving up your YouTube channel, thinking about starting a YouTube channel, just it can happen. There's tons of these stories on there, literally overnight monetization. But to Derek's point, keeping that monetization up. So your high water was 4 grand on average. What are you guys seeing as far as YouTube monies coming in
Yeah,
now?
so the hard part about this for me personally is I am the one, so I got to be in the videos. I don't have to. We've done a few without the lawyer, but the lawyers in my office, they like doing them, but only once in a while. Like they don't want to be YouTube personalities. So the point is, I'm trying to balance being that creator, but also managing a business with 40 employees, right?
Yeah.
And so that's been a struggle for me. So I just don't film as much as I should. And boy, does the algorithm just crush you when you are not on a regular routine. And we took time off, and that's one of my bigger regrets when it comes to YouTube is taking that time off. So yes, if you're looking for a lesson, just keep putting it out there. I don't care if you're every day, once a week, once every 2 weeks. I don't think the algorithm necessarily cares, but I think it cares that you're actually sticking with whatever your schedule is. And we didn't do that. And so, we went down to, $20 a month, right? In monetization, right? Just from residual. And then as soon as we start putting out videos, it bumps back up, a couple $100. But I think, with 34,000 subs, you're gonna need a lot more than that to be in the thousands every month
Yeah, but
of dollars
what's
earned.
what's interesting about that, and this is where as a business owner, and Stan and I have really been trying to refine what could we sell, what service or coaching or consulting outside of our channel. So you have a business, you have a very
Right.
successful law firm. What is all your content creation and digital marketing doing to your website traffic? Is that's
Yes,
really to me the bigger win than a couple $100 from YouTube. Who cares? If I'm getting
exactly right.
100 customers a month because of my creations and my content, holy crap, that's a big value.
Yep, exactly right. And we've got sort of this weird dichotomy where, we're a local business. I don't sell online, whatever, people from all over the world come by. You have to have an issue within, 45 minutes of where I'm standing right now for us to be able to help you, right? And so that's where those local videos, that silly example of a YouTuber on Michigan Avenue in Chicago, draws more actual paying local clients than the reaction video about Tiger Woods, right? Because people all over you can see this in the back end of YouTube. People all over the world are watching that one, right?
Yeah.
And so, but so, I'm trying to do both. And truthfully, I don't know that I necessarily have the greatest strategy in the world to trying to blend those two. But I will tell you, in terms of people hiring us locally for a DUI, traffic ticket, whatever, almost every one of them these days says that they have seen us online somewhere.
That's cool.
For sure, YouTube. I mean,
Do you think it's ever a case, Derek, where you said that, all right, they're shopping 4 or 5 lawyers, and while they're shopping you, maybe they Google you or something, and then all that online presence pops up.
yes.
Um,
Or maybe if they landed on our website, now magically they're getting ads on Facebook, right? And or
Yeah.
ads on YouTube and everywhere else. Yes.
yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. We do a lot of that. I mean, I can remember a girl not that long ago called the office and just insisted on talking to me. One of the girls came in and said, like, I don't know, if somebody wants to talk. I'm like, yeah, put them on. Well, let me talk to them. And so this girl's like, I can't believe I'm talking to you. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, my name's Melissa, and it was a serious, like, it was a really fast, like 100 and something mile an hour speeding ticket. But it was, it's a speeding ticket. And she's like, I was up all night. I was so upset. I watched every video that you put out about speeding tickets, last night. I was up literally all night watching it. And as soon as you opened, I had to call you. I'm like, okay, well, here's what it's going to
We,
cost for us to represent you, right? And obviously she didn't negotiate that. She was ready to pay it. So, and those stories happen all the time. That one was a bit extreme that she watched every video, right? But yeah, I think that's obviously the power of having your personality and your insights online.
well,
Yeah.
Carl and I would certainly love to, monetize someday on this, but to be honest with you, we're having a blast.
Yeah.
We're getting to talk to a lot of really cool people, yourself included, and everybody's got some interesting stories. Um, I'm having a good time. What about you, Carl?
Yeah. I mean, for us, it was back to your original thing, Derek. This thing started birthed out of COVID and me just being isolated. Like, okay, I'm grateful to have a job today, right? Because I don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. But
Yeah.
I started making these, Derek, and you'll appreciate these from your days in card. I was trying to create this series of all the people that you and I have helped buy a car, finance a car, trade a car, look for a car. I made a series of those. But because they were kind of like witness protection, dark, creepy, me late at night, lonely, depressed, I never put them out because I didn't know
Really?
how to do I didn't know how to do like thumbnails. I didn't know how to do
Sure.
descriptions. So literally they're sitting in my studio, just sitting there from 5 years ago,
I'm
never
fine.
published. And then kind of Stan and I were messing around and I forgot, I don't know, I didn't really forget it, but I just didn't put two and two together that Stan used to have a TV show in California, has a great voiceover, history. And I'm like, what the frick am I doing trying to do this by myself? Let's partner with my buddy. At least we can have fun conversations,
Yeah.
add some people in, help share your all story and journey and business. And to me, I would do these if we never made a penny just because of these conversations. And
Yep.
and more of late, Stan, tell me if you agree with this. It's been either catching up with old friends or colleagues or making new friends and colleagues that to me is
Yeah,
just the most rewarding.
Yep.
that's
I
been a
love that.
side benefit, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get to
I mean,
reconnect with people I haven't talked to, like you guys just did. 10 years,
yeah.
you said it's been since you guys have talked. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
certainly
Really.
been a side benefit to it as well.
For sure. There's so many side. I mean, so we talked about, yes, monetizing is cool, great. But also, like we said, the local clients for us, but even like other things that I never would have imagined. I've interviewed lawyers to come to our firm, and they've been sort of pre-sold because they watched some of our YouTube videos. Like, that's cool. Like, nobody else doing that. You're kind of on the cutting edge of this, right? And instead of some of the old stuffy lawyers and law firms I could go work at, right? I'm like, I never in a million years would have imagined that being a benefit, you know. So yeah, absolutely. I think there's real value in just putting yourself out there and doing it. It's the grind though. It's the frequency. It takes years and years and years in most cases before you actually start to feel those benefits. So that's
Do you,
most attrition out, I think.
yeah, do you agree? And this, Stan, I've been joking about this one lately, and maybe you don't lead with this ever, but when you're out and about and people are like, what do you do? And I'm like, well, my day job is this, but I also have a YouTube channel. The perspective and the interest and the shock of people is so hilarious to me. And the fact that Stan and I did this, I was down by him a couple weeks ago where we met a whole in a couple evenings, we met a whole bunch of cool new fun people. And to be able to go on the app and just send them like, hey, here's my most recent video. Or, oh, you got a problem with a DUI? Here's my friend Derek, right?
Yep.
These episodes, it's unbelievable the reaction you get from people that, and it, to your point, it's not that hard to do it. Yes, the editing, the consistency, the discipline, the scheduling to us is really the hardest thing,
Right.
because we probably got 20, 30 people that said over the last year and a half that have said, yes, I want to be on it. And you just can't schedule the dang thing.
Right. Yeah,
So
I believe it. Yeah. No, it is definitely, I think it's really hard to make that your day job, but yeah, as a second, hobby that supports whatever your sort of core thing is, I think is great. And if you can flip it someday and make it your day job, and hey,
well,
more
that
power
was
to you.
my one thing I noticed about you, and Stan, this is interesting because I think you do a little bit of this too, Stan, where you guys are very professional, very confident people, but when you get online, you're very animated. And you guys, I've been with both of you after a cocktail or two, and you guys just open up. There's a freedom and an energy that hits you that's just so. So watching your other videos, I was like, dang, Derek, you're good at this. It's not just you're doing it to drive traffic and to educate, but you're actually good at this because you're very animated and energetic in it. And I love the fact that you are balanced. I said to this Stan the other day in our conversations is you are very much for when the police do things right, but you let them rip when when they do things wrong. Same with the with the client or the potential client
Yeah.
is when they mess up, you're like, oh Lord, friggin' shut your mouth. Or hey, good job, you declined this, you did this right. So there's a fun little balance there. But the freedom that you express is really refreshing.
I mean, I think that's the beauty of doing a real reaction. Like the people and many times comments, because people who comment are, some of the comments are crazy, right?
Yeah.
The people aren't, but some of the comments are crazy. And so a lot of people have accused me of like, researching this ahead of time, or like, I can't believe you got that wrong, right? I'm like, this is a real reaction. I walk into that room right over here. And our video guy has got it all queued up. He does not even tell me what I'm about to watch. Sometimes I can guess. I'm like, oh, the Tiger Woods video just came out. I bet I can guess what that is, right? But yeah, for the most part, I have no idea what's going on. And so I get stuff wrong. I get stuff right. I have I've had many where I'm like, I don't like what I just said in there. Like I'm walking out of the studio, I'm like, oh, that was a bad reaction. I didn't like that. I want a second do-over. And to his credit, he's always like, no, it's like real reaction. Let's go with it.
Yeah.
And they work out fine.
I got a question. Do you ever have any police officers ever comment on your posts, and how do they feel about it when you're kind of calling them out?
Yeah, so I absolutely am not anti-police, not in any way, shape, or form. And I try to call the shots like I see it. But if you do this long enough, if you are a criminal defense attorney long enough, and you know what a good police investigation looks like, it is very easy to spot bad police investigations, right? And
Yeah.
so I kind of feel like that's part of my job here is to call out those I mean, it's definitely my job when I'm their criminal defense attorney is to call out the bad police investigation. Same thing on video, right? And so I got like my best friend is a police officer. He's a detective in the Chicago suburbs. He's watched me jokes around, with them, with me
Yeah.
about them. We have a two. We've had one currently and one former attorneys at our firm who are previous law enforcement. They've been on video with me commenting. Those are always fun because they got a cool perspective both as a lawyer and law enforcement. So it's not something I don't see too many comments about it. Or if we do, it's like, oh, I was a former law enforcement for 20 something years. Yeah, you should never do it. You should never do what this
Right.
driver did or whatever. So yeah, I don't see it as an issue. It's not something I worry about. I shoot it straight both ways as best I can.
Yeah, I respect that. Do you ever find repeat offenders on the law enforcement side? Like this officer has done this, like this is their MO. They're gonna do this kind of thing.
Yes, absolutely. There are specific, let's talk in the world of DUIs, there are specific officers, an Illinois State Trooper or Chicago police officer who record 200 and something DUIs a year, make 200 and something DUI arrests a year, and they get, all these rewards for it. But if you we handle about 500 DUIs a year for 10 years. I see a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
They write stuff the same way. They they take a Word document, what's essentially a Word document, and start changing names and stuff like that. And I can pull those up, and that's a poor police investigation. That's not an independent police investigation. That's sort of a templated police investigation. And yeah, the fun part is when you get to address those in court in front of the judge.
Yeah, well, it's just like any industry. All three of us were in the car business, and a lot of car people have a bad reputation, and some of them deserve it. But that doesn't mean they're all bad. There's good people and bad people in just about every kind of industry I can think of. I do want to just tell you a real quick story, Carl. I don't know if I ever told you this one, but there's a town here near Austin, and their police force is notorious with people that they will make stuff up. They pulled over a coworker. I don't know if you were there when Chris Williams was there. I don't think you were there at True Car, Carl, but there's this one road. It's 25 miles per hour, and you'd learn you go 25 miles, not a stitch over it anyway. He was doing 24, 25. They pulled him over. And he said, I wasn't speeding. And the cop told him, well, that speed or that stops or the posted speed limit is just a suggestion. I can still determine that you were speeding. And but this same uh, police force, I'm coming around a curve. It was not speeding. It's a two-lane highway with the center medium, turn lane in the center, and then two more going the other way. And as I'm coming around a corner, I see this car just fishtailing off of the side of the road and was like going to pull out in front of me. So I went into the next lane. And as I went around them, their police cars, you can't even see the word police. It's like blended into the paint. You can see it if you're right on it. I'm like, oh, it's a cop. He's got his lights on. So by this time, I got around him and I pulled over to get out of his way like a good citizen. And he pulls up behind me. And I'm like, what the heck is this? He comes out and he goes, oh, you didn't stop for the school bus. And I'm like, what school bus? He's trying to tell me that 4 lanes over, 5 lanes over, there was a school bus stop there. And I said, well, if there was a school bus, I didn't see him because you almost hit me. I was uh, trying to avoid being hit by you. So if I missed the school bus, it's because of this. And he said, oh, yeah, that guy, I'm going to send him a ticket. So he wrote me a ticket. And so I went into court to fight this, and my thing was going to be just what I told you that if there was a school bus there, I didn't see it because this police, if I wouldn't have taken evasive action, he would have hit me. So how could I be paying attention to this when he caused this to happen? But then I asked to see the dash cam. And in the dash cam video, yes, there was a school bus stop there, but they didn't have their lights out. They didn't have the stop thing out. And you can hear the police officer saying, oh, I wonder if their lights and their stop sign thing is broken. It's not working. my point is he knew I didn't do anything wrong, and he still gave me a ticket. And then when I went before the judge was like, it's not very often when the dash cam proves somebody innocent. And I said, you know what, Your Honor, it did prove me innocent, but it also proved him guilty. I want this officer reprimanded. How is that even allowed when he purposely wrote something that he knew I didn't do anything wrong?
He was, I can promise you, he was not reprimanded.
I guarantee it. They went out and had beers afterwards and laughed about it, didn't they? Oh,
Yes,
I
they
know,
did.
especially in this particular town. I'll tell you just a real quick funny story, though, is I was invited by a girl I was kind of seeing. She's a well-known accountant in that town, and she supports the police officers, whatever. They have a annual Christmas thing where they raise funds and all this kind of stuff. And all these people are up there talking about how brave these guys are. They're in a town that if they pull somebody over for a ticket, the whole force shows up because they're so bored. There's not a whole lot of crime there.
Right.
But I was just, oh, I wanted to get up on this stage and get up on the microphone and tell that story, but
Well,
I
I
I did
mean,
not.
I to me, that's the power of video. Not that much different than YouTube, right? I mean,
Yeah,
I think I agree with you that uh there's good lawyers, there's bad lawyers, there's good police officers, bad police, car
sure,
dealerships, right? You name it. I believe the majority are the vast majority, overwhelming majority, good, right? And that video is amazing. The police video, body worn camera typically is amazing for those officers, right? Because they get blamed by the public for a bunch of bullshit that they
sure,
didn't actually
sure.
do. But it also, you would be, I've seen many over the years where an officer is doing kind of what you said, a lot of conversations there. I've seen countless numbers, and this is where you kind of try your best to not get too cynical, because I've seen many videos over the years where two officers are talking with somebody and to each other. Officers behind the car talking to each other. I don't smell any alcohol in their breath. Do you? No, I
Yeah,
don't smell anything. And they come up and go, step out of the car, smell alcohol in your breath. You mother,
yeah,
right? How can you
yeah,
not, right? Isn't that the
yeah.
reaction that you have? It's the reaction I have, right? Get the right. There's plenty of people committing crimes out there with overwhelming evidence. Go get them, right? You don't
Yeah,
have to make
yeah,
stuff. You don't have to make stuff up. And again, I think that goes to the power of video. I think it also goes to the power of just people have a very visceral reaction to some of these things, and
sure.
that makes for good video.
Yeah. Well, look, when I told you my story, your reaction was he didn't get
No,
reprimanded.
no.
So, I mean, is that just, I mean, that was here in Texas, so you're in Chicago. I mean, that whole system is they're all in it together.
Yeah, I mean, the chiefs in the sergeant are buddies with their officer. I mean, they protect their employees just like I protect my employees if,
Sure.
some client accuses, one of my, right? So it's a matter of degree, right? If it's something minor, I'm gonna uh protect your employee, but it's got to be pretty egregious to start an investigation and this guy's family, his wife, his kids, all that stuff. It's the nature of the business. I'm not saying it's right or justifying it, but
Yeah.
something like a traffic ticket, nope. And truthfully, the officer can probably explain all that away. It wasn't even investigated. It's just not. They're just on to the next thing.
Yeah.
It's the nature of it.
Hey, Derek,
Hmm.
the we'll get a little bit more educational here just for a quick second. So we talked about the power of video. The power of video to me is also, we're going to use a little digital marketing term here, is evergreen, right? So you
Yeah.
put these videos, and that's kind of the fun of this snowball effect of what we're all doing here on YouTube is, yes, the early videos suck, but they're out there and we're trying, and they get better and better and better in the conversations and the questions. But what is that doing for, just as a business owner who has a website, you built it, what type of traffic have you seen as an arc consistently through this evergreen marketing? I know you got to layer in OTT and retargeting and remarketing, digital
Yep.
marketing. These are common terms, but remember, this is organic stuff we're creating right here. This costs us nothing but
Yep.
time. So
Absolutely.
business owners or wannabe YouTubers, it's just your time and effort and editing to get this out there. Now, do you want to amplify it with some paid media? You can, but what's it done for your maybe your marketing budget compared to like if you did no videos because there was a time you weren't, kind of give us some
Yeah,
pros
for
and
sure.
cons of that.
Yep, absolutely. So yes, absolutely our sort of website traffic has gone up. We've also probably quadrupled in size since we started YouTube too. But I think those go hand in hand. Like I think you said earlier, a high tide raises all boats, right? I absolutely want a potential client to, if say they just read our reviews, they didn't even know we had a YouTube channel. Um, they call us like, hey, you got a ton of good reviews. We give them a consultation. Maybe they just want to call three more. Maybe they think we're too expensive, whatever. Our sales team will follow up with links to videos. Hey, using that same example, you got this YouTube ticket. The owner of the law firm made a video 5 years ago, right, on this topic, and here it is. And now they get pulled in. They get the next one, right? And now they're watching that one with the 2 million views and whatever. And I think it legitimizes us. So I think it just comes in. You can work that in the exact opposite direction too, right? That somebody's watching our YouTube videos, they wind up on our website, they see our Google reviews, and they have a consultation. You can work that in any way, and I think it's sort of impossible to keep track of that. I mean, you could do some attribution, first click, last click, all that stuff, but I don't even bother with that these days. I'd rather be everywhere around this one topic.
In your opinion, Derek, would it be beneficial for most businesses to have a YouTube channel, whether they're hitting a big one like you did or not? But
Yeah.
just kind of some of the other things that we had talked about, when someone starts looking at them as a potential business to do business with, do you think it's beneficial that for businesses like car dealers, we all started kind of in that car business. Wouldn't it make sense to have a really robust YouTube channel and a presence like that so that when people are looking at you, they've got something really positive to look at?
Yep, absolutely. I mean, um, the evergreen, sort of like long tail, like let's use the car business example, right? How does the 2026 whatever have a wireless charger for the, right? Just like this small little niche stuff. I mean, you find that, you search that, and of course, YouTube is the second largest search engine, right? But obviously, a lot of searchers are going to the LLMs lately, your Chat GPTs and Geminis and Claudes and whatnot. They're indexing YouTube videos as well, right? So, absolutely. I've made more money off those small, the U-turn on Michigan Avenue one than I have on the one that got 2 million views. Not
You
not
mean
not
you
YouTube monetization wise, right?
right, right.
But from the long tail, the local business, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
I
man.
made
I just
well over $1 million off of YouTube videos.
Hmm.
Can I directly attribute that? No, but I mean, I know how much our business has grown since then. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. Hard to nail it to just that, but you're certainly convinced that it has been a contributing factor to that kind of growth for your company.
Yeah, we ask every consultation, we ask how you heard about us, and usually it's like internet search, right? Like, okay, I need more here, right? So I've trained our staff to ask the question, but yeah, I mean and so we mark that in our CRM. Thousands of people every year that we consult say they watched our YouTube videos. Thousands.
When you were talking about the story about the woman who had reached out to you because she spent all night watching the things, I thought for sure the end of that story was she going to be like, I can't believe I'm talking to you. Can I get your autograph?
Yeah, right. We do get a little of that. You do get a little of that. So
It does give you a little bit of that
it
celebrity-ish
does.
status, right?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's something about it. Something about it. I'm
Super cool.
just a guy running a local business, but yep, you're right.
Well,
Very cool.
part of why I wanted to have you on, as I mentioned earlier, was to catch up. But I also think it's intriguing, and we can touch on this in our words of wisdom here too. But to have a guy go from uh, one career, super successful, shift gears kind of midstream and go to this next one is the other message that I want to tell. It is possible to do it. It's possible to have a full-time job and go to school and get a whole nother career path and be successful. And then you layer in the YouTube and the digital marketing stuff. It's just a really great journey and story that I want to share. So Derek,
It's
thank you for your time. We're going to jump to our, just to be respectful of your time, our
our
what do we call
rapid
it?
fire
Rapid fire.
questions.
So
Yeah.
Stan will hit you up with that, and then I'll circle back for
All
our
right.
words of
But
wisdom here at
before
the
I
end.
do the rapid fire questions, Derek, that artwork you've got behind you, I keep getting little glimpses of it. I got to look like say something so the camera goes on you.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Is that
That
helpful? I
is,
don't know. It's yeah, I don't know where heck we got it, but yeah, it's some guy. He looks like Rick Ross if you're familiar. I don't think it's
yeah, he
intended to be,
does.
but he looks like Rick Ross who's I don't know, driving a police car. I thought it was apt for what we do.
Yeah. No, it's very cool. Okay, here's your rapid fire questions. Are you ready, sir?
Yes, I'm ready.
What was your first car you ever had?
1987 Chevy Celebrity.
That's
I hated that car, but I was fortunate to get it. My grandparents bought it for me, but yeah, that was it. Got it for me when I turned 16. I drove it back from Michigan. Um, yeah,
All right.
good
So,
medium.
what has been your favorite vehicle that you've ever owned?
Ooh, that's a tough one. So I'm gonna give you two. I had a Ford Probe. It was like 94 Ford Probe that was old and beat up, but man, it was stick shift. Man, was that thing fun to drive. It was super, it was like GT, it was super fast. Terrible car, had all these problems, but when it ran, I had an amazing time driving that car. Because I was also like 18. But I love my current car. I got a Model X Plaid, so incredibly fast.
Mm.
Um, it's the first Tesla I ever owned, and man, the full self-driving, the speed of that thing is literally give you whiplash. It's fun. It's fun.
Well, it's nice that you have a really fast car and you can get yourself out of the
Yeah,
speeding tickets.
exactly
So,
right. Not that I ever speed. Not that I would ever speed.
all right. Budget's not a concern. What would be your dream vehicle?
Ooh, I don't have. All right, I'll just give you the first one that comes to mind, even though I'm not.
Yeah.
So I watched, gosh, I'm gonna get, I wish so I watched some YouTube video a while back about these guys, ridiculously wealthy guys in London that are rebuilding these like 1950s and 60s old Mercedes. Like they look like the
Mm,
Batman, kind of like,
yeah.
Gull
shoot,
wing?
what is it?
Is it the gull wings?
It might be. Yeah, that's it. That's it. And they rebuild them with, these new crazy AMG motors and they sound beautiful. I'm not, truth be told, I'm not super into the car guys and the old cars and all that stuff. But I watched that video and that immediately became like my dream. It's all blacked out with these oh man, they sound amazing. You can hear them from 5 blocks away. That would be cool.
Cool. Nice.
Look that one up.
All right, Carl.
Yeah, yeah.
Words of wisdom time, buddy.
So we started this kind of tradition, Derek, which was words of wisdom. We call it our wow factor, wow question, which is what would today's Derek tell 18-year-old Derek rocking his Ford Probe GT that you know now that you wish you would have known then? And hopefully that's not skip over the whole cars.com era,
No, no,
but
no.
it could be. What would you tell
No,
yourself?
no, I actually love and value my time with cars in the Tribune. But I would say start a business. That's my main theme to people these days. It has been by far the best decision I made. Absolutely nothing against corporate America but for my personality, the freedom and sort of the freedom of decision, really, to take the business whatever direction I want to go next is something I really, really love and really, really enjoy and really, really am grateful for. So, and it's just like YouTube. You're going to get the first couple are going to be terrible, and you're going to be embarrassed of them, but eventually get to some point where, that skill set is super transferable. Like I wholeheartedly believe I could go start a plumbing business, like fill in the blank, right? And just do it so much more effective and efficiently because of the things I learned over the last 10 years. And that's a set of skills I really value.
Oh, that's
Awesome.
awesome.
Man, Derek, we appreciate you taking this time with us. Really very educational edition of what drives you, but a lot of fun too. So appreciate you taking this time. Carl, always good to see you, my friend. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this edition of What Drives You. And as we always like to say, be good humans. See you next time.